We're back with another episode of the Obsessed with Pickleball podcast. I'm Jane Holland, and this weekend was absolutely crazy. This is why pickleball was made for me. I love sports and I love reality TV. And this weekend was filled with drama. And I want to start explaining it to everyone. But where do we want to start? First, let me give you a little update on my Duper Journey Challenge. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I have made it my goal for 2025 to get my Duper to a 4.4. It's currently at a 3.7. Now, to give context, like I play 4.5 tournaments. Some I win, some I lose. So I think I need to get better as well as playing more Duper events so I can get my Duper up. That's where we are. Now, this weekend, I played my first tournament in like 8 months. Women's doubles 4.5. It was rough. We went 3 and 4, which I don't think is terrible, but I will say those first 2 games, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do. Like my heart was racing. I was tight. I don't know why I do this every time I play a tournament. And it makes me think, why am I doing this? Am I even having fun? I feel like this is relatable. Like, do you ever sign up for a tournament and you go and you're like, do I even like playing this tournament? But then after the tournament was over, I was like, when's my next one? Because I need another chance to win. If I lose, I'm mad, so I need to redeem myself. And if I win, I'm riding a high and I'm like, when's the next one? So I think I'm in like a loop I can't get out of. Anyway, there were some teams there that I thought we definitely should have beat. And I would have loved to go 2 out of 3 with them as a round robin. But there were good teams there. We had good matches. And I'm going to take 3 and 4 as a win for my first tournament. Now, the Dupers haven't updated yet. So that will be another announcement that I make. We have to hope that my losses in a 4-5 won't drop my 3-7 too far. But I don't really understand how this Duper algorithm works. I think it's out to get me. Okay, moving on to Major League Pickleball. Before I hop into Major League Pickleball, there's some breaking freaky news, okay? Catherine Parento, Rachel Rohrabacher are playing together in Atlanta at the next PPA tournament. This feels a little bit inevitable. I think we were all kind of saying, will they partner together? Will they partner together? Half joking, because it never seemed like they really had like any kind of like friendship or relationship off the court. But there was no one else to partner with. Nobody was going to switch around. Like, I don't think they'll partner all year. I think Catherine's going to play with Paris a bit. I can see a bunch of potential partnerships that would be great for both of them. But I'm really excited for Atlanta. And I will say, Catherine and Rachel were both playing so well this weekend. Catherine beat Annalie in women's doubles. Rachel beat Anna Bright in mixed doubles. I don't know, it'll be their first tournament together. We don't know how well they're going to do, but I'm excited to see it. I hope they can get their Selkirk paddles like juiced up a little bit, because it's going to be tough going against Anna Ziola and Anna Lee Waters' special paddle tech. Okay, moving on. Major League Pickleball, first event of the year. Wow, wow, wow. Everyone was wondering, is it going to be as exciting with standard side out scoring rather than rally scoring? I think when you had a really good match, it didn't matter if it was rally or side out. But what it did create is more very lopsided matches, which I guess you can say like that's the point. Like the better team should not lose to the lesser team. But I'm worried about MLP this year because the teams are so lopsided. There are clearly the top teams that you would always pick as a favorite. New Jersey Fives, St. Louis Shock, Dallas Flash. And then there is another tier of teams, Columbus Sliders, Brooklyn Pickleball Club, Texas Ranchers, who you would usually pick if they weren't playing those top teams. And then I think some people knocking on the door would be the LA Mad Drops and the Orlando Squeeze. Orlando Squeeze had such a great weekend. I don't know why I'm not counting them in the top. I think we're just kind of looking at the Samantha Parker, Lacey Schneeman partnership and seeing if there's potential there. I mean, Samantha Parker is the X factor. If she can improve this year and we can see a breakout year from her, like maybe we saw with Rachel Rohrabacher on the Squeeze, or I mean, even Paris Todd years ago, they could have a chance of reaching that top. It would be nice to see a playoff where the top four aren't predictable. Like there's some upsets in the playoffs because right now there's way too many matches that aren't even worth turning on. And that is unfortunate because it used to be that way. Other takeaways from Orlando. Those courts were so ugly. Like, what are you thinking? Oh my God. Oh my God. When I first watched, I was like, this is a farce. Like, I like branding and I like home team stuff, but like, you have to be kidding me with this. Ouch. My eyeballs took a second to adjust. What everyone's going to be talking about and where I think I have some hot takes on is definitely the Annalie Waters, Hayden Patrick-Quinn argument at the end of the last match of the weekend. But let's build up to that because there are some things I don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And pretty much everyone is talking about that argument. And a lot has already been said, but I'm going to get to it. I will get to it. I'm going to give you a little teaser of what I'm going to say later. When did it become a man calling a woman a B word, an effing B word, as he's walking off the court? That is completely crossing the line. Okay, we can argue about that. But somebody crossing over to another person's bench and physically entering their space in an aggressive manner is not. I'm not defending one action or the other, but I think you can never get into somebody's physical space. You can never make that step. And that's just where I'm going to start that conversation. Okay. First night, we have Thursday, Texas Ranchers versus Brooklyn Pickleball Team. That was such a fun matchup. Texas ends up taking it. And I thought Texas would take that match for sure, even though it's super closely, like, they're close teams in skill level, because there's no experience. There's less experience on the Brooklyn team. They're like a very, very new team. And you see that. Jackie and Rachel lose. Declan and Riley lose. The only team that wins is Declan and Rachel, who play together in the PPA. Now, when I saw this, I was like, there are some things that I've noticed about the Brooklyn team. I'm all in for them. I love them. I love that team. Riley's dinks are a little dead. Like, there's too many powerful paddles now speeding up off the bounce for your dinks to be too dead. Does that make sense? Like, there's got to be something on the dink or people are going to continue to speed up at you. What else do we have here? Bouncers beat the Hustlers, and then we have the New Jersey Fives beating the Columbus Lighters. This is the first time we see the new matchup of Annalie Waters and Megan Dizon against Paris Todd and Leah Jansen. They take this game, but it is 11-8. It's close. Then we have Will Howes and Zane Navratil beating Andre and CJ. I would have put my money on Andre and CJ for this matchup, but CJ wasn't playing very well this day. I think it was the first time out with this new team. They were a little iffy. Paris and Andre did win. I think they're like insanely powerful doubles team. And then you have Annalie Waters and Will Howes facing off against Leia and CJ. You know, I don't know who chose the matchups this time around, but there's definitely a pattern this weekend of Annalie's mixed team playing against the number 2 mixed team, which is a very smart strategy for the Fives. They have pretty much found their formula for success. Annalie needs to win 2 games. If Will and Zane can throw in a win there, which they can, they're a very strong men's doubles team. Great. If not, and Annalie takes 2 wins, they have one of the strongest Dream Breaker teams, and they're only kind of they're only going to be really vulnerable on a regular basis to the shock and the flash. So it's smart of them. If they can plan for it, always put Annalie and Will against the second mixed team, assuming that one of the gender doubles will take it. I guess it's risky, but it's a good formula for strategy. Okay, the next day, biggest matchup would be the Dallas Flash versus the Columbus Sliders. Flash take all of the games except Andre Descu and Paris Todd beat Tyra and I'm not surprised that Andre and Paris won that. I think Andre and Paris should win most of their mixed matches. But Dallas looks good. Jorja Johnson had a weekend. 11-1 Jorja and Tyra over Paris and Leia. 11-0 J-Dub and Jorja over CJ and Leia. If I'm Leia, I'm running away from Jorja right now. She's going to need to find a way to redeem herself next time she plays Jorja. And then we have the New Jersey Fives versus Brooklyn Pickleball Team, and it goes to a dream breaker. The Brooklyn Pickleball Team gets smashed in this dream breaker. Okay, like smashed. Brooklyn is a great team. Riley and Deckel can beat anyone. Rachel and Jackie can beat most teams. And Declan and Rachel should win everything. And Riley and Jackie, depending on who they're playing, should win everything. So here we have a situation where Will Howells and Annalie Waters were going up against Riley and Jackie, the number 2 mixed team on Brooklyn. And Declan and Rachel went up against Zane and Megan. So these created 2 easy wins back to back on switching teams. If I was Brooklyn and I had been the home team, I would have 100% put Declan and Rachel against Will and Anna and given us a chance to take that win, and then let Riley and Jackie take Zane and Megan, which would have been closer, but I think I would give it to Riley and Jackie. Then we avoid the dream breaker. This to me makes a huge difference because there's no way Brooklyn can win a dream breaker against the Fives. Deckel is a good singles player, but every time he beats one of the top singles player who plays singles, it's going to be an upset. And Riley is not good at singles. So they should just try to avoid dream breakers as much as they can. But this is the problem with this home team thing. If they can't control their mixed matches, they pretty much are in a situation where they have to win both genders. Does that make sense? If the other team is going to put their best doubles, their best mixed team against their second mixed team, the second mixed team is not going to win. Like, very unlikely. So now, because they can't do a dream breaker, they have to win the 2 genders. This is why I think it has to be a coin toss. And I don't think that the home team should get to choose the matchups for both mixed and dream breaker, but that's not as important to this. I will never believe, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, that it is not rigged who gets to be the home team. If you're the Fives and you get to be the home team against Brooklyn, and then the away team against someone you're easily going to beat, like, who gets to choose who the home team is? I think it should be like football. There should be a coin toss, and that's how you decide who's doing each thing. Because if Brooklyn had been the home team, I think this game could have gone the other way. And then at the end of the day, we get to the Phoenix Flames versus the Orlando Squeeze. Orlando, the home team, they're pumped. But we see Jessie Irvin like we've never seen Jessie Irvin before. She's on one, you guys. Jessie was the queen of I just make balls. I'm just going to make balls. Not anymore. She's on fire. She's dancing in between points. She's speeding up. She's going balls to the walls. And I'm really loving that. I'm loving that side of Jessie. And here's a thought. What would you do now that just the world has turned upside down and everything has changed if Catherine Parento and Jessie Irvin played together on PPA Tour? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm also not saying that I wouldn't love for it to happen, because I love a reunion. And it would be crazy. I think I'd be overwhelmed. Dylan Frazier and Samantha Parker are a good mixed doubles team. Keep that in mind. They crushed Jack and Jeannie. Now, Jack Sock and Jeannie Bouchard need to get it together. If the Flames are going to have any chance here, I'm going to need some more from Jack and Jeannie. I don't know how that happens before the next event that they're playing in, but we're going to need to see that. And then we move into Saturday. Columbus Sliders, who have become one of my favorite teams, I'm loving them, take on the Texas Ranchers and win. And this is huge for the Sliders after taking 2 pretty bad losses to come in and beat a top team. Women get it done. Leia and Paris are fiery and competitive, and I think MLP, I think they're a good fit for each other in MLP. I think they bring equal levels of intensity, and I'm excited for that. Then comes Sunday, the day everyone was waiting for, super anticipated, Battle of the Rivals, big women's doubles day, and it starts out with Anna Bright against her old partner Rachel Rohrbacher when the St. Louis Shock make their MLP 2025 premiere against the Brooklyn Pickleball team. Shock were heavy favorites. The women, Anna and Kate, take on Rachel and Jackie. And it's a pretty easy win for Anna Bright. I'm sure Rachel was not happy. She didn't look happy. Then Gabe and Hayden beat Riley and Deckel. This matchup could have gone either way, and it did end 11-9, but good first start for all 4 players. Now we get into mixed doubles. This time, the St. Louis Shock switched up their mixed doubles partnering. Last year, Anna Bright and Hayden Patrick Quinn always played together, and Gabe Tardio and Kate Fahey always played together. I think Kate and Gabe never really had good results. They were trying to mix that up, and now Gabe has kind of come on the scene as a really strong mixed player. So they've been putting Anna and Gabe as their number 1 and Hayden and Kate as their number 2. So Hayden and Kate go up against Riley and Jackie and lose. So now it's 2-1. Next, we have Rachel Rohrbacher back against Anna Bright. And this time, she and Deckel Barr beat Anna Bright and Gabe Tardio. And Rachel looked very happy after that one. The cheers were huge. High fives everywhere. It was amazing. But we go into the Dream Breaker and we see Brooklyn's fatal flaw is the weakness in their singles game. They are going to have to win in regulation. They're not going to win in a Dream Breaker. And I think this is an issue that the Brooklyn team has faced before when they were DC, is they haven't always had super strong singles teams, and it has come back to bite them. But this match did not disappoint. When Hayden Patrick Quinn was playing against Riley in the Dream Breaker, his chirpiness was out of control. He was just schooling Riley, and it was crazy. And then we have the second anticipated match, the New Jersey Fives against the LA Mad Drops. Annalie Waters, in the same situation that Anna Bright was in, faces off against her ex-partner, the one she dumped, let's say, Catherine Prento. Game 1, women's doubles. Catherine Prento and Jay Kawamoto beat Annalie Waters and Megan Nizan. Huge win for Catherine. Massive. I don't think people were expecting it, but Catherine came out and played insanely well. Crazy. It was a good sign for Catherine. And it kind of gave the vibe of oh, I can finally play free. And I think we've all experienced when we're playing with someone who is supposed to be the better player, and it makes you really tight and nervous because if you lose, you will be blamed. And I think definitely that's what Catherine got fed when she was playing with Annalie. You can even look at their last loss. Annalie was missing so much, speeding up the middle, getting owned, miss. Yet it was Catherine's fault they lost, and she got dumped. She was playing great with Jade. The Kawamotos had a great weekend. And a stat that I stole from Real Clear Stats, Jackie and Jade Kawamoto were both in the top 5 for their doubles wins. That's huge. They weren't playing together, separately, mixed and women's, in the top 5. Jackie and Jade Kawamoto thrive in MLP. Keep that in mind. Fives men beat Kwang Duong and AJ Kohler. AJ Kohler subbing for Hunter Johnson because he cut his finger doing dishes, which I respect. Do those dishes. But that's a tight win for the Fives. AJ's really good, accomplished player, but I wouldn't call on him when I needed like a clutch situation to go up against one of the best teams. I wonder if QD and Hunter would have won that game, but good game for them. QD and Catherine beat Megan and Zane, and then Annalie and Will demolish AJ and Jade. Dreambreaker comes up, and the Fives win 21-19. That's super close for the Mad Drops as well. AJ Kohler used to play singles. I haven't seen him play singles in a while. And Jade doesn't play singles. And Annalie's Annalie and Will's Will. So I think this game kind of showed the Mad Drops how good they could be. And I'm ready to see how they would be with Hunter Johnson. Do they win that Dreambreaker if they have Hunter Johnson? That's a question. Now, this is where it gets spicy. And this is something that I think everyone needs to keep in mind when we're talking about other things. After that match and Catherine beating Annalie, in her post-match interview, Annalie says something along the lines as, yeah, Catherine came out firing and I was being too nice, and that came back to bite me in that women's doubles match. Wow. Wow. That's a crazy thing to say. Not just in general, which it is when you lose, like, be a gracious loser, Annalie, but to your best friend, quote unquote, who you want to be in your wedding. You could just say, I was tight because I was playing against Catherine, or Catherine came out firing and like I was slow to catch up. But to say you were being too nice, like you were going easy on her, it's so rude. It's so rude. I can't even believe it. But then the Mad Drops go on to lose to the Squeeze. So from the Squeeze and the Mad Drops, I would say those are my two question mark teams, where they both are going to have a season of either getting really good and challenging the top teams or not. I mean, that's any team, but I think they're knocking on the door of the Ranchers, of Brooklyn, maybe Columbus, maybe the Fives. I don't know if somehow they can maneuver it so they're not always choosing the mixed matchups. Who knows? Now, the next game, the biggie, the next notable match. I know I'm skipping matches, guys, but we don't have all day. Final game of the weekend. They're calling it Sunday night pickleball. The New Jersey Fives against the St. Louis Shock. Both teams fancy themselves the number one team. And a lot of people are saying this will be the finals if Dallas isn't there, but Dallas will be there. Annalie Waters versus Anna Bright, reunited on the PPA tour, expected to be pretty much unbeatable, expected to be the next dynasty, are playing against each other. So it's kind of like a battle for who's the best. And maybe this is why Anna Bright was fine with joining up with Anna Lee, even though it kind of takes her out of the equation to be the number one woman, is because she's like, okay, well, I can beat her in MLP. I don't know, I'm extrapolating, but they face off. Game 1 goes to Anna Bright and Kate Fahey. Annalie Waters takes her second women's doubles loss. I want to give Megan, I don't want to blame Megan, because Annalie is responsible for getting her job done as well. And I hope that Megan she was definitely making tight mistakes that I think were coming from nerves and being targeted. It is so hard to be the person targeted because it's impossible to not eventually make a mistake. So we'll see how the season goes. Whenever I question the Fives' decisions, I'm always wrong, first of all. So I already know I'm going to be wrong about this. I would have kept Mari. I would have dropped Zane and picked him back up. But they did make a financial decision to make some money off Mari. And we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. That's all we can do, is we can see. The Shock men beat the Fives men. I'm not surprised about this. I think Will and Zayn can either be amazing or they can be mediocre depending on who's showing up that day. And I think Hayden and Gabe have great chemistry. Then we go into mixed match number 1. This is where things get spicy. Doesn't even begin to explain it. So let me go through what happened. I was not there. This is coming from watching the videos of all the different angles and the tweets that we've seen and things like that. I am just telling you guys. So if you didn't see, this is the drama that the observers are privy to. And this is where I wish we were in a real reality show. Because how fun would it be if we could cut away to the different players and get their reactions? Like, what would Anna Bright say about that one moment? Like, the ref, Gabe, he probably wasn't paying attention. It'd be hilarious. So here's what happened. Annalee and Will face off against Hayden and Kate and beat them 11-3. Hayden is one of the chirpiest guys on tour. And he and Annalee have been known to get into it before. Annalee likes to put herself in the mix. She likes to get chirpy. She said to Hayden before, like, don't effing talk to me like that. Or she'll say things like, don't poke the bear after she like wins a point. Things like that. She gets into the mix, okay? And Hayden can get intense. There have been times where I thought that I'm like, you're just getting, like, now it's feeling not fun. It's feeling classless, I guess. You think about the other crazy chirpers like Julian Arnold. When he was insane on MLP, he was never disrespectful. He was just annoying. Like, I think he just annoyed his opponents, but he was never like offensive. And I think that Hayden does cross that line. So match happens. Will and Annalee take it easily. They're walking over to tap paddles. And this is what I don't see a lot of people talking about, but what I noticed and play over and over again. As they're tapping paddles, you can hear Annalee saying, get the ball in, and laughing, like kind of in a laughing way. What I can extrapolate from that is that she's saying something along the lines of, like, if you could just get the ball in, or maybe you should try to get the ball in, something like that, which would not be abnormal to hear because they're chirpy. I just want to preface, this is coming off of her beating him 11-3. Okay. As he's walking away, Hayden calls her a effing B word. Now, there was a tweet, somebody said I was sitting right there and he was saying it to Will for like body bagging him so many times. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. Because you have Zayn at the same time saying he called her that name multiple times. So obviously Zayn is biased for his team. And obviously that guy, who knows where he was sitting and who knows if he's not biased for Hayden. We don't know. So let's just say, based on what we heard, he was saying that to Annalee. Annalee freaks out, goes after Hayden with her finger in her face and saying, you just called me am I allowed to curse on YouTube? You just called me a B word, blah, 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 in his face, walks over to the side of the St. Louis Shock's bench and goes at him. Now, the owners of St. Louis Shock are big guys, okay? Like, she comes at Hayden, who goes around one of the owners, and the owners puts himself in between the two of them. Now, this is a gray area based on how you think you saw what happened. I do not think he, based on the videos, pushed her or grabbed her, which both of her and her mom says he did. Do I think that he moved his body to be in between her and Hayden? Definitely. Do I think that he was trying to keep her away from Hayden? For sure. Maybe what he should have done is just let her by. I think it's a gray area of whether or not he got too physical. It's tough. It's tough when a girl goes after a guy, because my gut reaction is to say, like, don't you touch her. No man should ever touch a woman. But I do think that Annalee put herself in his space. He was just standing there and she put herself in his space. But this is where it gets complicated. And this is where I've had some debates with some people, and specifically guys, and I'm seeing it online a lot. You can never call a woman a a bitch, let alone an effing B. Okay. And I'm trying to wrap my head around how I feel about that statement, because yes, I guess don't do that. I guess it is aggressive. But why are we saying that is completely unexcusable? Period, point blank. But physically aggressing yourself towards another person is not. Now, do I think that Annalie was going to be able to hurt Hayden? Of course not. Do I think she was going to do anything aggressive? Absolutely not. But like, in the situation of sports and these kind of things, like, both have to be unacceptable. But I loved the MLP's response saying, Annalie is obviously not an effing B. Stay on your side of the court. Keep your smack talk appropriate. I love that's so true. Like, they both were wrong. And that's that. They were both wrong and they both looked stupid. But now that we have men and women playing against each other in sports, and as MLP is going to get more and more crazy, what do we do about that dynamic? What lines are women allowed to cross and men aren't allowed to cross? They're both going to, Hayden will pay the consequences of what he did for a while. People will not like it, and he's going to pay the consequences. Annalie probably won't have any consequences. If anything, I've heard people say that they like her more because of this. My one friend Andrew was like, this is the coolest thing Annalie's ever done. I'm like, okay. I'm like, if that's true, then Hayden didn't cross the line. We got to go one way or the other. Either they're both wrong or they're both just playing the game. That's how I feel. Let's move on. One thing I noticed at the end of that match, when Anna Bright was asked about the win, it became very clear to me that she must like be a loyal listener to this podcast, because she said everybody was like, the flash, the flash, the flash, but we're here. And yeah, no one had a weekend like Jorja, but like, we're ready to win, something like that. Two things. One, I'm like the flash, the flash, the flash. So I'm sorry. Like, I want to get on board with the shock, but maybe you're one of your players shouldn't go around calling girls bees. I don't know. And she probably saw my Instagram story where I was wearing my Dallas Flash shirt to a tournament and said I was channeling Jorja Johnson. Like, Anna, don't be so obsessed with me. Jeez. Obviously, I'm joking, but I do think there's a chip on Anna's shoulders about not making it to the finals last year. I do think she thinks she has the strongest team, and maybe she does. That is going to be a juicy match when we see those two teams go up against each other, and I'm very excited. Now, wrapping this up, let's see where we left this MLP. I have a few more takeaways that I took notes on as I was watching. One, uniforms, fire. There are some amazing uniforms. St. Louis Shock, best in my mind uniforms this week. Second, Dallas Flash, but Tyra and Georgia's fashions are always top notch. I like the sliders. Hot take, I don't like the Orlando Squeezes outfits. Okay, I said it. A lot of people like them. They think they're fire. They were a little too much for me. Maybe it's because the courts match them so well, but I'll see how I feel when they're on regular courts. I don't know. What else? Jesse Irvin is on fire. Riley stinks are dead. I already talked about that. Meech, in one of the games, called Gabe a generational talent. Okay, hold on. What is the criteria for being a generational talent? I need to know, because she always calls Annalie Waters that. But what does Gabe have to accomplish to meet that standard? Maybe he is. This is not a diss on Gabe. I just think maybe we're handing out that phrase a little too freely. Okay. Let's see how it is. The serves. Okay, guys, the serves. Everyone is a cheater. Zayn and Will had so many serve errors. It's like, what are we doing, MLP? Why are we making these serve rules so complicated that people are doing it wrong so often? It's crazy. And the way that these guys are allowed to serve now, look at the ranchers. Christian and Eric Onsens are just serving so big and then driving and crashing. That's their whole strategy, because the way that they're allowed to like throw the ball up now or like drop it from your shoulders is insane. It's insane. Like Will Howell's serve used to be borderline and now it's like, okay. Next up, we have MLP Columbus. I will be there live watching the matches. I'm super excited. Teams I'm looking out for: the Phoenix Flames, who I'm kind of obsessed with. I love this new fiery Jesse. I think Tyson and Jack are hilarious together. I think they're a pretty high energy, fun team. The Shocker there, they'll be a favorite. Sliders, I'm excited to see them. Obviously, they'll be the home team. So I'm wondering what the Columbus energy is going to be like, but I'm into it. Check out the Atlanta Bouncers, the Chicago Slice. I'm still not really totally. Chi, don't bite me. I need to see more of the Chicago Slice and the Atlanta Bouncers before I have like too many opinions about them. Are you serious? And then the Orlando Squeeze will be there. So the biggest teams are going to definitely be the Sliders, the Shock, and we'll see how the Orlando Squeeze does. Are you crazy? Anyway, I'm excited to go to my first MLP Live this year. I'm hoping to go to a few. And I'm hoping too that I can do like a podcast halfway through on there to kind of talk about what's been going on. But we'll see. I'll keep you updated if I have any on the ground drama to report. But MLP is up and running and it's full steam ahead. Follow me on Instagram, Obsessed with Pickleball, Obsessed with Pickleball Pod. On TikTok, Obsessed with Pickleball Pod. Like and subscribe to this podcast. Hoping to have some more fun interviews coming up. I have a couple things in the works, so stay tuned. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.